Alexis, are you a vinyl fan?
Yes, I am. Still buying lots of second-hand vinyl and new vinyl now, and have been buying it since I was about, I guess, 15 or so. It's more appealing to me as a format than any other one, even though I can tell that not the full frequency range is captured in vinyl. But I guess it's partly the fact that I've grown up listening to music on that format and loved it. And also it's something about the sound quality, even if that sound quality is slightly different from what you can get on CD. I want to be clear,
you're listening to the vinyl. It's not, you're not just buying it because you like the covers and the physicality and the collection and you put it on the wall or whatever. It's
I don't have them on the wall, but I have a bit of an addiction to buying vinyl. Yeah, it's a bit out of hand now.
Yeah,
but it's something about there's a kind of pleasant sound quality, not in every single record. You know, you can buy records that are badly pressed, badly mastered, but there's something that's quite pleasing about a record that is not abrasive in its sound.
Well, let's talk about the sound, because Johnny, you don't think the sound is as good on the vinyl, right? Or is it as good?
No, I mean, a lot of people talk about the warmth of the sound on vinyl records, and I suppose there is a certain warmth. What it really is a lot of middle in the sound, which means that you don't really get a lot of treble or bass, which means a lot of the definition is a little bit lost. And a lot of the time, if you don't have particularly good equipment, it's just basically quite a muffled, dull sound, in truth.
Right.
Well, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I've been buying vinyl records, like Alexis said. I grew up with vinyl, you know, way before him, back in the early Cretaceous period, and I remember when CDs came in, resisting for a long time just because it was my habit to buy vinyl. But once I did go over to CDs,
you realise it's nice to have the top end and the bottom end of the music.
Well, it's not. It wasn't the sound actually; it was the convenience, because you no longer have to. I've recently tried to get back into playing vinyl, and taking the fluff off the needle and putting a little 5p on it to make sure it doesn't jump or stick, and then the clunk that it is. It's just like racing to get the shutter down before the first note comes in, and make sure you don't put the needle too far away so it doesn't go and fall off.
Sam, do you listen to vinyl yourself?
I do, and I do collect it in a joyous way. But for me, actually, that joy of all the faff is what I love about vinyl, that as a listener, you listen to an album from start to finish. You don't skip around. You don't just buy the singles you like.
Oh, no, that's important, because it's much harder to just skip tracks.
You sit down and you listen to a piece of music as it was intended to be composed, and I think that's really, really important.
But aren't a lot of people buying it like a souvenir? So they love the band. They're obviously not listening on vinyl most of the time. They've got their headphones on and they're listening on the bus. But they want this thing. I
think that's wonderful. I think it doesn't really matter even if they're listening to it. I had a figure, and don't quote me on it, but about 48% of people that own vinyl don't even have a record player. But it is that sort of coffee table culture of just wanting something, of showing physical support, of being a true fan. And I think that's quite a lovely thing, especially nowadays in the fast-paced consumerist world we live in.
Yeah, it's like sort of real fire or cooking on a barbecue or something. Do you put much effort into the vinyl versions of your records? I mean, do you think about the artwork and the physicality?
Actually, we find ourselves in Hot Chip thinking about the format, the vinyl format, more than any other format. And then every now and again you have to remember that that's almost irrelevant to a large proportion of the audience. So you're planning everything about
98% of the audience.
You're planning everything about the sleeve and how it will work on two sides, and even just the idea of an album as opposed to singles or tracks. So we're still very much thinking in that outmoded way.
But
that's because it means something to us.
Yeah, I want to push you on it, because actually I suspect that the albums are quite expensive, the vinyls, aren't they? They are actually a premium product.
Yeah, they are.
Which are really for the devoted fans to really feel they're getting close to you. And I don't want to say it's a rip-off, but it's a rip-off.
You can say that. I mean, I've tried in the past to persuade people that we've been working with to bring the price down on the releases. So there was a sort of period where vinyl was becoming more fashionable and more of an artefact that people wanted to pay more for. And I was saying, well, if you haven't made an album that deserves to be very expensive, you've made one that is a single record, doesn't need to have bonus poster with it or whatever, then let's keep it like that and keep it affordable for people.
Yeah. Do DJs use vinyl much? I mean,
all this, like, especially like the old soul DJs do, but it's just not practical lugging around a huge, you know, I'm 5'4", I can't lug around like that much weight of records with me.
So it's not DJs who are buying all this
I
vinyl.
think the idea that it's this hipster sort of elusive club just isn't the case. You can buy vinyl in Sainsbury's, you can buy vinyl in Tesco, you can buy it secondhand on eBay. I think it's a very young, like, relevant thing. It's just a bit, it's a bit cool.
I mean, I was looking at the charts. I mean, the album chart, the vinyl album chart, Johnny, is like the stuff I've got in my album collection. Is ELO, Pink Floyd, Fleetwood Mac. It's playing to it's playing to my demographic, isn't it? Rather than yours.
True. Yeah, there seems to be an audience that will continue to rebuy what they already have on CD and on vinyl and on cassette before CD. You know, it's not just that people are discovering new music. There is a bit of an audience who have maybe a disposable income and are willing to buy those classic records over and over again.
And they also want I think they want the kind of the extra experience with all the packaging and with the extra sort of liner notes and the rest of it is the equivalent of going to a sporting event and having the sort of lunch and a sort of after dinner speaker who's a former player, and then you get to sort of go and get a signed football or something like that. There's that element of it, but I also think that with the packaging of it, you know, just buy a coffee table book, you know, and then, because it's the same thing, it sort of goes there on yourself, it looks really nice, but
why is that
you don't have to have the hassle of actually...
Right, do we basically think this is just a fad? I mean, it's not coincidence, it's come up just before Christmas, this story, and is it basically, is this surge in vinyl going to last 2 years and then people go on to something else, T-shirts?
I think it'll continue simply because I mean, vinyl has never gone away, certainly in the dance music world. DJs have always DJed with vinyl. One thing I do think is going to really affect it actually could be Brexit, because a lot of vinyl. No, it's true. A lot of vinyl is produced in France and the Czech Republic, for instance. And if Brexit happens, you know, the way we think it might happen in March, that means there'll be extra tariffs on vinyl. It'll become even more expensive than it is already. And
this is the Brexit
so that could
show.
nip it all in the bud.
I said it was the end of the Brexit news earlier, and in fact it wasn't. I lied. Look, thanks all so very much indeed.